Okay, so in the previous tutorial we have seen how we can populate our resource building list, and now let's try to spawn a worker character near uh, specific our specific resource building. So for now I will keep these three buildings in the map, so it will be easy for us to test. But if I play, everything will be populated, so it will be sort of difficult for testing. So let's first maybe create a variable for activate or deactivate our buildings, right? So this will be actually helpful in the development purposes. We can quickly disable a set of classes, object instances that is being placed on the map. We can do the debug test. Okay, so by default make sure to keep it as active, and at the begin play level, first let's check whether it's active or not. If it is active, we can populate the resources. Let's try to simulate. Okay, by default everything is active, but for testing I will disable our barn and the mine and keep our lumber hut active. So let's play it again. Okay, now you can see only the lumber hut object instance is populated. It's nearby resources. Okay, then let's go to our resource building and create a function called spawn worker. Right? Okay. Right. So now we are at the BP resource building base, right? Okay. So just for testing, let's add some mesh here. Maybe some lumber hut. Okay. So we need to specify what is the area that we are going to spawn our work characters. So maybe I will spawn those characters over here, right? So let's add a maybe box collision, right? So let me quickly check my documentation. Okay, and let's move it over here, and yeah, so spawn area, it's just for the testing I will add some scaling, 555 or maybe 551. This is just for the testing. Probably we may need to tweak this thing a little bit later on. Okay, so I'll use this area to spawn our workers. Okay, so you can see in the lumber hut there is an area. Also in the barn we have that area. Also in the mine we have this area. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the resource building base again and spawn worker function, and yeah, so we have to specify what is the worker that we are going to spawn, like a class that we are going to spawn. So I'll create a new variable called worker class, or let's say associated worker class. Keep it instant editable, and it should be in the worker base class reference. And let's move it to the setup resource building. Okay, so now we can actually spawn actor from class, which is this actor. Actually, we can first check whether it is valid or not, right? Let's check whether it is valid. If it is valid, we can spawn that actor. Also try to adjust location, but always spawn. And now we have to take a random location from this specific sphere, no, actually this specific box area. So actually I'll name this thing called maybe worker spawn area, and maybe this thing I'll name this as let's say resource search range area. Resource search area. What's that? Okay. So where did I left? And the spawn area. Okay. So let's get a random location from this bound. So scale box extend, and then random point in bounding box, and this is that specific location. Okay. So maybe let's make transform, and we can just direct assign it as well, but it's better if we can spawn the act a little bit up, then there won't be any issues, right? Maybe I'll break this thing and make a vector. So x y coordinates remain same, but the z vector maybe we can add a small displacement, right? So let's head to the location and get at rotation to the rotation, and the scale remains same. Okay, so that's the spawned actor, right? Spawned worker in this specific resource type, right? Then yeah, I think since we are spawning our worker, maybe we can populate spawned worker object list as well. So let's create such a list, spawned workers. So, and it should be in worker base object reference type, should be an array. Okay, so I'll promote this to maybe a local variable called spawn worker, and let's add that spawned worker to the spawned workers tab. like that. Okay, so I hope everything is fine. Maybe let's go to the event graph. Maybe after some delay, let's say maybe 2 seconds, and maybe let's try to spawn work. This is just for the demonstration purposes, and later on actually we need to set up a separate event dispatcher to handle these sort of spawnings. But yeah, just for testing I think this would be fine. Okay, so we have lumber hut, and yeah, we need to actually mention what is the respective worker for this specific resource building, right? So let's go to the BP lumber hut maybe, and let's assign the associate worker class as BP lumber. Likewise for BP barn, associated worker will be BP farmer, and for the BP mine, the associated worker will be BP miner. Okay, so let's try to simulate it. 1, 2. Okay, now it spawns a worker, right? I mean, the spawning works, but the character is actually spawning, floating on the ground, right? Which is not the expected way. So maybe let's see what's happened over here. Okay, so we are spawning it, and maybe let's go to the characters base. Okay, and in this capsule component, what's the collision type? Okay, it's spawn. Yeah, I mean, maybe the issue is at the positions that you are spawning, right? Because it takes some random location over here, which is on the ground, but sometimes that location can be not clearly detected. So according to this collision handling override rule, it just try to adjust the location. So that's why it adds some sort of displacement like that. Plus that displacement will be happening over here as well. So for example, if I reduce this offset value and try to simulate it again, yeah, wait. Let's go to the version of this map and try to simulate it again. You see, now the spawning works correctly. If I try to simulate it again, yes, you see now that the spawn is not working correctly, right? But it spawns. This happens because we always taking some random point from this specific bounding box, right? Which is this thing. That's why sometimes that spawning is not working correctly. But however, the worker is spawning on the map, so that's the expected behavior we want. And maybe in the next tutorial, let's see how we can do a proper worker spawn position handling or location handling by sensing the ground, like we did in this natural resource spawner classes, right? So if you remember, in natural resource spawner class we had the same issue. So how did we fix that? Basically we first did a line trace from top to bottom, and we detect the ground, and from that position we spawned these specific objects. So similarly we have to do the same thing for the worker instances as well. And yeah, let's do that in the next tutorial, and see you there. So thank you.